Hey there, this is Ashmita from Sources Classes, and in today's class, we are going to solve a practice set of questions based on a poem that you can definitely get in your AP examination. Now, this is just a sample poem that I'm going to solve over here. And if you can answer, it's well and fine. If you cannot answer, you can follow my answering technique. And also, I would be providing you reasons why I am selecting that particular answer to be the correct one, along with all the explanations required. So that's it. Let's get started. That's the poem, and let's start discussing about it. Carefully read the following poem. This is the poem Inland by Edna St. Vincent Millay. And you need to answer the questions that will follow. Now, here you will get around 20 questions, and there would be multiple choices, and you will have to choose the correct option. Let's read the poem. People that build their houses inland, people that buy a plot of ground shaped like a house and build a house there, far from the seaboard, far from the sun. So, very simple thing that is being portrayed over here about people who are buying houses inland, far away from the seaboard, far away from all the sound. They want calm environment. Okay, uh, let's talk about the second paragraph. Of water sucking the hollow ledges, tons of water striking the shore. What do they do? Long for, as I long for one salt smell of the sea once more. So the writer is, the poet is longing for the smell of the sea once more, the salty smell of the sea. Next passage, next paragraph rather, stanza. People the waves have not awakened, spanking the boats at the harbor's head. What do they long for? As I long for starting up in my inland bed. So, talking about the boats and the harbor and about the inland bed. The third stanza is talking about the waves that have not awakened. These are the things you will find over here. Now the last stanza, beating the narrow walls and finding neither beating the narrow walls and finding neither a window nor a door, screaming to God for death by drowning. One salt taste of the sea once more. So, once again, this poet is screaming to God for death by drowning, and he wants to taste the saltiness of the sea once more the last time. He is begging, he is requesting. So let's get to see the questions that follow. Okay, yes, the question says, the first question is, in the context of this poem, plot uh, line 2. What does it indicate? Okay, we have to find out what does the line plot in what does the word plot in line number 2 indicate? Word plot in line number 2. Let's go over to line number 2 once. This is line number 2. Plot over here. Plot of ground. Now, over here, plot is basically it's a parcel of land on which, like, it's kind of a parcel of land where houses are built. Okay, like houses are built. Okay, and however, the same word is also used for cemetery. Okay, Cemetery means a graveyard where like people are buried after death. So these are the cross signs, burial beds. So it can be referred to as both like plots for building houses and also for cemetery purpose. All right. Um, and the silver of the and not and the sliver of the land, that's your last address. Of course, the land is your last address. And both the meanings will apply in this poem. It can be applied like either way, both are being applied over here. Because the first stanza talks about houses. Okay, so this stanza talks about houses. And this last stanza refers to either a window or a door. Okay, so like neither a window nor a door. Okay, this fourth stanza is referring to neither a window nor a door, and it is basically referring to death by drowning. All right, so we can say that choice B is your correct answer. Okay, so option number B is your correct answer. Now let's move over to the second question. Question number 12 says, the poem compares, okay, three options are given. First option says life on the sea, life on the land. Number 2 says a sailor's life before and after the sailor's return to land. Number 3, death by drowning to death on land. Yeah, over here, the speaker is basically wondering about people that build their houses inland. Like we see this concept in line number 1. Okay, I'm going over to the poem just to make you see line number 1. In line number 1, the poet is talking about people who build their houses inland. Okay, and he also speaks of his or her own feelings about the sea. Like you see over here, there was this line. Let me find it out. Like as long as I for one salt smell of the sea once more. Uh, Yes, over here, got it. I long for one salt smell of the sea once more. So this is his feelings. Okay, and therefore we can say that. Let me go back to the question. The first point, that is the first statement, is valid. Okay, the first statement is valid. Now, the speaker also talks about like starting up in like in his inland bed. Okay, starting up in his inland bed once again, longing for the sea, and therefore, like statement two makes the cut over here. Okay, here statement two will definitely go because. Here, sailors return to land means this is his inland bed. Okay, so that is why the second point is also valid. Um, the third is tempting, and because the poem mentions death by drowning, that's the main main theme of the poem. That is they are portraying death by drowning. Uh, we have seen it in the last lines. Let me show you once. We have seen it in line number 15. You see, death by drowning. This is the line, death by drowning. And this is line number 15. So, however, nothing in the poem speaks of death on land. Okay, so the third statement drops out, and then you're left with choice C. Okay, so let's go back to the question. Yes, so I just told you that third one won't go. So, of course, choice C will go because it has both 1 and 2. All right. Now let's go to the next question. The next question says, the lack of punctuation at the end of line 4. Okay, let's go back to the poem once again because we won't be able to understand what they were talking about if we do not get to see the poem. Line number 4. Lack of punctuation after line number 4. Yes, the line is this one that they were talking about, far from the seaboard, far from the sound. Okay, got it? Now let's get back to the question. Yes. So, now let's come straight to the point, that is a line ending with no punctuation, which is also called enjambment over here. Let me write down, it's called enjambment. All right. In literary terminology, it's called enjambment. Now, it has both cuts and but like its purpose is to both cut and join. Okay. So the line break says stop, but the sentence continues. Okay. So poets get two meanings from this sort of trick. On one hand, if you stop at the end of line 4, like we are talking about line 4 only over here, it reads like far from the seaboard and far from the sound. That was the line, right? So, with sound being a body of water, they are talking about far from the sea, far from the sound, right? So with sound being a body of water, if you keep going, however, you have far from the sound of water. So here sound means noise. So as you see, choice E will go correctly. That is, sound is referred to an auditory sensation and to a body of water. Okay, that's your correct option. Let's talk about question number 14, which says all of the following are found in the first stanza, that is lines 1 to 4, except. Okay, we have to find out something which is not there in lines 1 to 4 of the poem. Now, parallels in poetry are patterns. Now, I'm talking about this parallel structure first, whether it was there or not, let us discuss. That is, parallels in poetry are patterns that repeat. Okay, so you can cross all choice A because the first stanza has two parallels. Okay, that is people that, one line was starting with that people that, and another line was far from. Okay, you can also remove B because you will be able to see enjambment in the first paragraph only, because I just told you sometime back only there was enjambment in stanza 1. So we are not going to consider this also because parallel structure is present, enjambment is present. We have to find out something which is not present in the first stanza. Talking about yeah, rhyme is also there. Rhyme is there in line number 2 and line number 4. In line number 2 and line number 4, rhyme is there. And a simile shows up in line number 3. Okay, in line 3, there is a simile. So, the thing which is left with us um, is metaphor, which is, as far as I remember, it's not there. Okay, So metaphor would be the thing which is not there in the first stanza. Okay, so correct answer would be number D. Let's move over to the next question. Now, question number 15 says line 9 may be interpreted to mean that. Okay, first read whatever is given. Some people are heavy sleepers. Anyone who lives inland hasn't truly lived. Inland life is less peaceful than life on the sea. It is better not to experience life on the sea. Inland life is preferable to life on the sea. Okay, so we are going to talk about line number 9. Let's get back to the poem. So let's see where is line number 9. This is line number 9. People, the waves have not awakened. This is your line. People, the waves have not awakened. Now let's get back to the question. Now, when we read the poem, throughout the poem, we came to know that the speaker wonders what inland life is like. Okay. However, the speaker isn't neutral and with his views. So, by the fourth stanza, the speaker is actually screaming to God. Like that's the speaker was asking, like screaming to God that can I get this the salt smell of the sea and all that. Like in a screaming tone, he was saying for a salt taste of the sea once more, right? So, like, keep that stanza in your mind, of course, as you look back at Awakened. Um, like, people awaken, that line I'm talking about, line number 9. And the word has a double meaning. Okay, that awakened word has a double meaning actually. Like one meaning is there that shows that everyone has roused from sleep and and are open to the fullness of life, and yeah. So number B, yes, number B will go. You see, number B says anyone who lives inland hasn't truly lived. Okay, so number B will go. Now let's talk about question number 16. Question number 16 says line 11 marks a shift between. Let's get back to line 11, but let us read the options. Formal and informal diction, a regular and an irregular rhyme scheme. Third is analysis and opinion. Fourth is relative detachment and increased emotion. Fifth is vehemence and detachment. Okay, let's get back to line number 11. They are talking about making a shift. Line number 11. That is, what do they long for as I long for? This is your line number 11. Okay. What do they long for as I long for? Now, in the first 10 lines of the poem, the speaker wonders about life inland but gives only one emotional clue, that is, as I long for one salt smell of the sea once more. So that was the line, right? So from 11, like from the line that we just saw, from line number 11 onwards, however the emotion builds up in the poem, that is, the speaker would rather drown than die inland. Okay. So the speaker is beating and screaming, as we have seen. The beating and screaming part we have seen from line number 13 to line number 15, and the other choices fall apart for various reasons. And choice A is out because the diction, you see, or the word choice doesn't change. Okay, so number A won't go at all, it's out. And talking about the other choices will also fall apart for other various reasons, and nor does the rhyme scheme goes. So the first 10 lines actually speculate about those who live inland. So no analysis appears. So C also is not going, B also is not going. Choice E would go, yeah, yes, Choice E would be fine if it were like reversed, okay, with the detachment moving to vehemence. The pattern described by the correct answer would be in number D. That is, yes, E could have been correct if the thing would have been reversed, but it's not like that. Number D has the reversed one, so number D has the correct option, okay? So number D is your correct option. Let's move over to question number 17. Question number 17 says the inland bed, that is line number 12, may be. Okay. Now, this poem is full of double meanings, first of all. So, if the speaker is inland, that is the title of the poem, he or she may actually be in the land, okay? As in the earth, we say, or in a grave, we say. That meaning fits the narrow walls without windows and doors that we have seen in the poem. And the reference to death is in the last lines, that is in line number 13 to 15, you will get it. So your best answer would be grave, that is number B. Next question. The speaker is probably. Now the speaker is longing to go to the sea once more. So choices C and E are easy to eliminate, we can say. Choices C and E. You know that the speaker wants to go to the sea now, right? But you don't know if that same wish was always present within him. So we will not consider number B. So we should drop number B. The speaker muses about the people that buy a plot of land, like a plot of ground, okay? But you can't tell whether the speaker is in that category or not. And some lines also suggest it can be otherwise also. So all you can be sure of is number A. Yes, number A would go. Someone who once like sailed and would like to do so again. So number A would be your correct answer. Okay, let's move over to question number 19. Question number 19 says the dominant technique used in the second stanza, that is from 5 to 8. Now, the dominant technique in the second stanza is all about the sensory description. Okay, I'm writing it down over here. It's all about the 5 senses which are working. That is the sensory descriptions, we call it. And like I would give you example, the water sucking the hollow ledges. We have come across this line, the water sucking the hollow ledges. That was in line number 5. Okay, we are talking about line number 5. There was this line in line number 6, that is tons of water striking the shore. Okay, let's go back to the poem. It would be easier for you to understand the sensory descriptions. Yes, lines are like yeah, 5 to 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. These 4 lines of water sucking the hollow ledges, tons of water striking the shore. What do they long for as I long for? One salt smell of the sea once more. You see over here, sensory descriptions we call it. So as you may know, imagery is defined as sensory description. So let's get to see which one would be the correct option. We can also say it's imagery. Alright, so over here, imagery would be your correct option. Alright, let's move to the last question for today's class. That is question number 20. Now, in the context of line 12, starting may be defined as, okay, let's get back to the poem once again. Line number 12 they are talking about. Line number 12 means this one, starting up in my inland bed. So starting meaning they have asked for, okay. Let's go back to the question. over here, the speaker is actually starting up in an inland bed, right? That is what we just read it. And like, what do you do in a bed normally? You wake up, right? So the other choices all address the moving to something else. Okay. And the definition of starting, um, like because the speaker is in the bed, the only definition that will fit him would be sudden awakening. Like us, we normally wake up from bed, right? So just like us, the speaker also is waking up from the bed. So we normally wake up. That is the normal thing that a person does when he or she sleeps on a bed, right? Wakes up. Yeah, so that was the entire discussion for today's class. If you want to join our classes, you can check the description box below for more details regarding our classes. And you will get the phone number, you will get the contact details, website link, all in the description box below. And if you want to learn with us, solve questions with us, definitely you can join our classes. That's it for today's class. We're going to meet once again in our next classes.